A new pope has been chosen, and everyone's wondering, is he woke or conservative? In this video, we're gonna explore his life and conclude to his political beliefs. In the bustling, windswept city of Chicago, on September 14, 1955, a boy named Robert Francis Provest came into the world. Born to Louis and Mildred Provest, devout Catholics in the working-class suburb of Dolton, Robert grew up surrounded by faith. Louis, a Navy veteran and educator with French and Italian roots, taught catechism at St. Mary of the Assumption Parish, while Mildred, a librarian of Spanish descent, filled their home with the aroma of homemade meals that drew priests like moths to a flame. As an altar boy, young Robert learned the rhythms of the Mass, the weight of the chalice, and the quiet power of prayer. In those pews, a seed was planted. A calling that would carry him from Chicago's South Side to the heart of the Vatican. Robert was no ordinary kid. Bright and disciplined, he excelled at school, eventually heading to Villanova University, where he earned a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics in 1977. Numbers came easily, but his heart tugged elsewhere. At 22, he joined the Order of St. Augustine, a religious community rooted in St. Augustine's ideals of communal life and service. He made solemn vows in 1981 and was ordained a priest in 1982, his life now dedicated to God and the Church. But Robert wasn't destined for a quiet parish life. The world awaited. In 1985, the Augustinians sent Father Provest to Chulucanas, Peru, a diocese in the rugged northwest where poverty clung like dust. Here, amid adobe homes and sprawling fields, he found his purpose. As chancellor and cathedral vicar, he dove into the lives of the people, farmers, laborers, families scraping by under the shadow of the Shining Path insurgency. He learned Spanish, his Chicago accent softening into the cadence of the Andes. By 1986, he was back in Chicago briefly, but Peru called again. From 1988 to 1998, he served in Trujillo, a coastal city pulsing with history and hardship. He founded a parish, taught canon law at the seminary, and served as a judge in the ecclesiastical court. His days were long, mornings with the poor, afternoons teaching, evenings praying with his Augustinian brothers. Peru transformed him. He saw Christ in the faces of the marginalized, the mother fleeing violence, the farmer with calloused hands, the child with no shoes. In 1995, he became a Peruvian citizen, a bold statement of belonging. His fluency in Spanish, alongside English, Italian, French, Portuguese, Latin, and German, made him a bridge between cultures. These years etched a deep compassion into his soul, a conviction that the Church must walk with the poor, the migrant, the forgotten. But they also taught him resilience, navigating political unrest and economic collapse with a steady hand and a quick wit that disarmed even the grumpiest parishioners. Leadership and controversy in Chicago. By 1999, Prevost's gifts caught the eye of his order. He returned to Chicago as provincial prior of the Augustinian province of Our Mother of Good Counsel, overseeing the Midwest monasteries and ministries. At 44, he was young for such a role, but his energy and intellect shone. He managed budgets, mentored young priests, and kept the order's mission alive in a secularizing world. But a storm loomed. In 2000, at the request of the Archdiocese of Chicago, he allowed Father James Ray, an Augustinian suspended for sexually abusing minors, to reside at a priory near a Catholic school. Provest ensured Ray was barred from public ministry and monitored, but he didn't notify the school, a decision that sparked outrage from abuse survivors and advocates. Critics called it a cover-up. Supporters argued he followed protocol in a system not yet reformed. Ray was later laicized in 2012, but the episode left a scar. A lesson in transparency Provest would carry forward. In 2001, a bigger stage beckoned. The Augustinians elected him Prior General, leader of the order's global operations. Based in Rome, Provest spent 12 years traveling to nearly 50 countries, from Africa's missions to Asia's seminaries. He balanced spirituality with pragmatism, managing finances, resolving disputes, and inspiring thousands of Augustinians. His multilingual charm and knack for listening made him a standout, but he never lost his Chicago grit. A straight-talking pastor who'd rather share a beer than pontificate. In 2014, Pope Francis, recognizing Provest's talent, named him Apostolic Administrator of the Diocese of Chiclayo, Peru. A year later, he became its bishop, shepherding 1.3 million Catholics across a region of urban sprawl and rural poverty. Chiclayo was no easy post. With 83% of the population Catholic, but only 48 priests, Provest rolled up his sleeves. He visited remote villages, celebrated Mass in dusty chapels, and cracked jokes that made farmers laugh. When Peru's political crisis peaked in 2020, with 3 presidents in a week, he called for dialogue and stability, a voice of calm in chaos. From 2020 to 2021, he also served as apostolic administrator of Callao, juggling 2 dioceses with grace. But controversy struck again. In 2022, 3 sisters in Chiclayo accused Provest of failing to investigate abuse allegations against 2 priests. He met the victims, followed church law, and sent the case to the Vatican's dicastery for the doctrine of the faith, which closed it in 2023 for lack of evidence. The diocese claimed he encouraged civil reporting, but critics, including the Survivors Network of those abused by priests, argued he didn't do enough. Supporters pointed to a disgraced former priest's vendetta as the source of the accusations. The truth lies in the gray. Provest operated within a flawed system, learning hard lessons about justice and accountability. The Vatican and the road to the papacy. In 2023, Pope Francis summoned Provest to Rome, appointing him prefect of the dicastery for bishops, a role shaping the global church by selecting its leaders. He also became president of the Pontifical Commission for Latin America, cementing his influence in the world's most Catholic region. Provest brought fresh air to the Vatican, adding 3 women to the dicastery's voting bloc, a nod to Francis's push for inclusivity. His reforms streamlined bishop appointments, prioritizing pastoral hearts over bureaucratic pedigrees. In September 2023, Francis made him a cardinal, and in February 2025 elevated him to Cardinal Bishop of Albano, a rare honor signaling trust. When Pope Francis died on April 21, 2025, the conclave loomed. Provest, at 69, was a papabile, a top contender. His global experience, alignment with Francis's vision, and dual U.S.-Peruvian citizenship made him a unifier. On May 7th, 133 cardinals gathered in the Sistine Chapel. After rounds of black smoke, white smoke rose on May 8, 2025. Robert Francis Provest emerged as Pope Leo XIV, the first American pope. His choice of Leo, evoking Leo I's strength, and Leo XIII's social teachings signaled a papacy of courage and compassion. What kind of pope is Leo XIV? His life offers clues. On immigration, he's a fierce advocate for the vulnerable, shaped by Peru's displaced families. He echoes Francis's call to welcome migrants, legal or illegal, seeing them as brothers and sisters, not threats. In Chiclayo, he supported programs for Venezuelan refugees, and as prefect, he backed bishops championing migrant rights. His stance is clear: borders bow to human dignity. On the death penalty, Leo XIV aligns with the Church's 2018 Catechism revision, which declares it inadmissible. Though he hasn't spoken directly, his role under Francis and emphasis on mercy suggest he opposes capital punishment, viewing life as sacred from conception to natural death. His silence leaves room for nuance, but his pastoral heart leans toward abolition. On LGBTQ issues, he walks a tightrope. In a 2012 address as Prior General, he expressed concern about Western culture's sympathy for the homosexual lifestyle and same-sex families, reflecting the Church's teaching that homosexual acts are intrinsically disordered. Yet, as prefect, he supported Fiducia Supplicans, 2023, allowing non-liturgical blessings for same-sex couples, emphasizing local bishops' discretion. He's pastoral but firm, offering compassion without rewriting doctrine. He opposes ordaining women as deacons, a conservative line he won't cross, but champions synodality, urging the Church to listen to all voices, even the marginalized. Other issues paint a similar picture. On women's roles, he's open to lay leadership. His dicastery's female voters prove it, but holds firm against ordination. On synodality, he pushes Francis's vision of a dialoguing church, frustrating conservatives who fear relativism. On abuse, he's learned from past mistakes, advocating stronger protocols while navigating canonical limits. His silence on issues like the Latin Mass or gender ideology suggests caution, avoiding culture wars to focus on unity. So, what is Pope Leo XIV's political belief? Labels like conservative, progressive, or woke falter in the Catholic context, but one belief rises above: pastoral pragmatism. Leo XIV is a man of the Church, rooted in its timeless teachings, yet driven to meet the world's messiness with mercy. His conservatism shines in doctrine, upholding traditional views on sexuality, marriage, and ordination. His progressivism glows in his passion for the poor, migrants, and synodal dialogue, pushing the Church to embrace the peripheries. Wokeness, a secular term tied to identity politics, doesn't fit. He rejects ideological extremes, grounding his actions in faith, not trends. His life tells the story. In Chicago, he learned discipline and community. In Peru, he embraced the marginalized, shaping his heart for justice. In Rome, he honed a global vision, balancing tradition with reform. The abuse controversies painful as they were, taught him humility and the need for accountability. As Leo XIV, he's no ideologue. He's a shepherd who believes the church must proclaim Jesus' love, firm in truth, flexible in practice. He'll defend dogma, but won't shut out dissenters. He'll champion migrants, but won't rewrite moral teachings. His papacy will seek unity, not through force, but through listening, a pragmatism born of faith. But the question is, how would you assess all that? Write in the comments what you think, and don't forget to subscribe.